Hello and welcome to the Daily Millwall for Thursday the 18th of March 2021. Today is the post-match stats video where we go through the statistics from yesterday's game. But before we get into that, I'm going to bring your attention to this. This is from millfc.co.uk, and one of the youngsters, Ollie Bay, has been nominated for Goal of the Month, February Goal of the Month. And it's one of those ones where you get to vote. So if you go on Millwall FC's website and you click on this link here, and you've got until the 23rd. So if you're watching this video before the 23rd of March, you can still vote. And I'll tell you what, let's have a look. He's doing quite well so far. 580 to 504. So it's a 2-horse race. And you could do with your help, get some more votes in there. Like I said, it runs until next Tuesday, midday next Tuesday. So if you can get on there and give it a vote, you don't need to sign up, log in, anything like that. You don't need to leave any details. You just go on this page and then you click at the top, Goal A, Ollie Bay, Millwall versus Colchester United, and you submit it, and then you fill in one of those capture robot things saying I'm not a robot. So only do this if you're not a robot. If you're a robot, you probably won't be able to do it. So let's go on to the stats. And here we go. This is from Experimental 361. If you've seen any of my previous stats videos, you will be fully aware of this. If you aren't, I'm going to explain to you. It's expected goals. That's the chances you created and the expectation there will be a goal from that chance spread along the 95 minutes of the match. Okay, you got that? The blue line is QPR. The green line is Millwall. When the line goes up, there is a chance on goal because your expected goals has gone up. The higher the line goes up, the better the expected goal chance is. The little circles are the actual goals that were scored. Right, you got that? Okay. So we can see pretty early goal from Millwall. Then a massive flat line where we didn't have another shot on goal until the end of the first half, about 34th minute, and then a series of shot after shot after shot, and we score. And there you go. And then of course QPR made substitutions at half time. We did not, and you can see that we actually, even though we were 2-0 up, we kept on trying to score. Even after we went 2-1 up, kept on trying to score. I know I've said in previous videos you can't defend for 45 minutes and expect not to concede a goal, but it seems we tried to do the opposite, and I don't think any changes were made at half time in terms of playing style. Maybe he told Marlon Romeo to not bomb forward too much because he was doing that a lot in the first half, but it was basically playing the same as they were, which it turned out as a mistake, but it's a mistake that you would have seen coming. I mean, Rowett complains about all the injuries and all the games where we got a Saturday game, then midweek game, and another Saturday game, and the only change he made was bringing Malone back in, and the only reason Malone wasn't playing in the game against Derby was because he would have been he wasn't allowed to play because he was he's on loan from Derby. So he's played the same team against the same starting 11 against Blackburn, and then against Derby, except for the change that he was forced to make, and then he undid that change that he was forced to make against QPR. So you should complain about the injuries, but then and all the games that happened, but he's played basically the same starting 11 in 3 matches in a row. And even then, he didn't make any changes at half time or just after half time. He waited until the 77th minute before he made the first change, I believe. I just don't know what was going on, because in that game against Derby, like I told you in the video that I filmed about it, there was an impending sense that Derby were going to score. It was just building up, chance after chance after chance, and luckily they didn't. The time ran out, but it was there. It was there. And that wasn't because anything we were doing. I think it was just a combination of luck and Derby not being tuned in. For some reason, he didn't play Lee Gregory. In the game they played midweek, what happened at Derby played Brentford. Derby were losing 2-0 at half time. They basically did what QPR. Rooney made, I think it was 2 or 3 changes at half time. One of them was bringing Lee Gregory on Kazim Richards, and Gregory scored straight away. And the same thing happened here against QPR. There's you're allowed 5 substitutions now. You got Wallace there. Someone was saying should have maybe taken Alex Pearce off, put Wallace in, or drop George Evans back, take Alex Pearce off, put Billy Mitchell in midfield. Because you got Murray Wallace and Billy Mitchell. Maybe they're not fully match fit. Maybe they can't do 90 minutes, but they can do 45 minutes. They can do 30 minutes. But that, I don't know why that didn't cross his mind to do that. It's, I don't know. It's just I don't know. But you can see here. So QPR were really carving out, working, taking their time to defend when they needed to. You see the flat lines between the first goal and the second goal. Then that second goal was a nailed on chance. It was a really high quality chance, because you see how vertical the line is there. Then they had another really good chance that didn't result in a goal. Then straight after they did score. And there was enough, by then it was too late. It was too late. Anyway, let's move on to this. This is from infogoal.net, and they actually give the expected goals as 1.5, QPR 2.29 for Millwall. So what was that? That's 2.2 to 1.5. That's a large difference from that one to this one, but I don't know which one to agree with, to be honest with you. So you can see here the substitutions that take place. Okay, so I actually got that wrong. QPR made substitutions 69 minute, and they bring on Chair. He's one of their better players. He's from the youth team. And then we make 3 substitutions, which yeah, I don't know what benefit that brought to the team. If you try and play the same way and you just change the people, because there's a massive difference between Bennett and Bodvarsson. Yeah, I don't know. Then let's have a look at the lineup. So, man of the match, no, not a QPR player. Let's click on Millwall. So there you can see, man of the match was Mason Bennett, according to infogoal.net, and close behind Jed Wallace. They were really good. But you can see here, so they give green scores. Hutchinson 7.1, Cooper 7.92, but you got low scores for most of the rest of the team. Pearce 5.42, Thompson 5.49, Malone 6.03 and Romeo 6.10. And the subs coming on didn't really do anything. Scores in less in 5.5. Not good at all. But Wallace and Bennett were something. They were doing something. They were pretty good, pretty good. It was just a weird game of two halves. Let's have a look at this. So the XG shot map, where on the pitches the shots were taken. So you can see QPR here having this massive ball is the really good chance that was the goal from Johansson, the 67th minute. The two other orange ones are the other goals, and then you can see here the chances that they created. I'm going to switch this over. You can see first half pretty much in a straight line, in line with our right hand post, which is pretty weird. It seems they were working to some kind of pattern, maybe trying to fill in the gap behind Woods. Maybe when Woods came forward, and maybe that's what they were doing. Second half, you can see they abandoned that and went on the other side. So they've obviously changed something. They were doing something in the first half. They were working to some kind of plan to go down this little alley here, and then in the second half they switched it up and were going through the other side on the left hand side. Let's go back to overall and let's go down and look at the Millwall goals. So you can see here cluster of chances in the middle there, and the goal on the left hand side in yellow was a couple of chances that Jed maybe could have crossed, but he tried to take it on. Two in a similar position now. So that's overall first half for Millwall. There you can see second half for Millwall. Pretty much similar. Okay. And you can see on the fairness rating, I told you about the fairness rating for the last game, which was completely unfair to Derby. They should not have lost that game. It was something in the 40s. Well, here we've got a fairness rating of 68. So it means that wasn't really a fair result. We shouldn't have lost that game. There's no way we should have lost that game. Maybe a draw. Maybe we should have won it. We had an higher expected goals according to this site. On the stats, let's have a look at the stats. We see here, so 55-45 possession, 8 to 4 attempts on target, 3 to 7 attempts off target. So our attempts were off target. That was so Mason Bennett had one of them, I think, and Sean Hutchinson had 2 really good chances, but they were to his feet and not to his head, so they went over the bar. Block shots 5 for them, 3 for us. Goalkeeper saves, Bart very busy last night, 2 for QPR, 5 for Millwall. Total passes 590 for them, 472 completed. 390 for us, 280 completed. They had 4 corners, we had 2. They had 3 offsides, we had 0. 11 to 8 fouls and 2 to 0 yellow cards. So it's pretty much similar as there you go. We just pretty direct, giving the ball away quite often, not really trying to keep hold of it, just trying to go direct, which is the style we've come to in our away games so far this season. But what I wanted to bring to your attention was the expected goals. Now, this, believe it or not, I don't know if if you watched the game or not, if you've seen the highlights. That was one of our best attacking performances of the season. I'm going to show you this here. So the expected goals 2.29 according to this site, which we can see that they disagree with the other site, but this site say 2.29, and that is actually the second highest expected goals in a game so far this season. And the first was all the way back in October, the start of the season. Yep, the season started late, so in October against Wickham, 2.45. That's the highest we had all season. And then the second highest was the one yesterday against QPR, and the third highest was the game after the Wickham game, the 2.22 at home to Luton. So arguably, Wickham and Luton's two of the poorest teams in the league. They're not at the bottom. Wickham are at the bottom of the table, but Luton aren't. But they do have a pretty low budget compared to most teams in the league, so that you could say they're a poor quality team. But our performance yesterday was our second best attacking performance of the season, 2.29. So there you go. Let's move on now to whoscored.com, and let's have a read of what they say. So they say for Queen's Park Rangers' strengths, they say they created a high number of chances relative to their possession, were effective at creating goal scoring opportunities from long shots, were effective at creating goal scoring opportunities from the flanks, were effective at creating goal scoring opportunities from set pieces, were strong at finishing. QPR's weaknesses were caught offside often. Their styles attacked through the middle. Yes, I'll show you that in a minute. Dominated possession, favoured short passing. For Millwall's strengths created a high number of chances relative to their possession, stole the ball often from the opposition, were effective at creating goal scoring opportunities from counter attacks, and were effective at creating goal scoring opportunities from set pieces. And weaknesses, it said we did not have any significant weaknesses, and Styles had a high shot frequency when in possession. And I'm going to come down here and I'm going to show you, so we can see here the attempts: 16 to them, 14 for us, 10 open play, 6 for us open play, set piece 6 and 6, but we had 2 counter attacks. So they had 16 shots, 3 goals, we had 14 shots, 2 goals. Conversion rates of 18 for them, 14 for us. But what I wanted to show you were the player positions, where they were involved in the pitch. And yet again, you can see a clear delineation for QPR on how they set up and how they played, and what was happening with Millwall. What are we even playing here? We're playing 3-4-1-2. It looks like that, and you can see here the massive gap between Tomo 8, Hutchinson 4, Romeo 12 and Woods 19. The massive gap there, centre left. Romeo bombing on. I think basically he was told to push up, and he took it a bit too literally, and there was a lot of trouble there, because as you can see here, you can just about see the 45 on the left hand side, QPR team. Their 3 attacking players, their 2 strikers in the AMC, were all playing off of each other. So you got 3 players playing off of each other, trying to get into that gap that was made. And what that meant was that Cooper had to tuck in, Hutchinson had to tuck in, and they couldn't really help out the fullbacks. So you got Malone and Romeo bombing on, and there's going to be massive gaps behind them that can't be filled. Because Hutchinson, in the game the other day, Hutchinson came over and basically was playing alongside Romeo, and he couldn't do that in this game because there's 3 players playing down the centre, like I showed you before with the shots in line with the post all going down one side. I think that was pretty much what they were trying to do. Pass it around each other, get through and hit on that left hand side. I think that was maybe Charlie Austin, and then have a shot. And that's what they were trying to do. So they had a game plan, and then basically the game after they come out, they switched it up, trying to go down the flanks and then whip balls in, especially down the left hand side. You can see I showed you the goals on the map where in the second half they came basically down Romeo's side and tried to score down there, because that's what every team does, because it must be in the scouting reports, because every team does that. They always bomb down that side where Romeo is, trying to get between him and Hutchinson. But you can see, look at the way QPR are set up and the way that Millwall are. There's a clear pattern of play, and then what are we doing over here? Who knows? Let's have a little look at the some more stuff, so you can see the goals there. The substitutions, yep. You can see here, so the average player rating, if you look at the badge, the club crest, 6.88 for QPR, 6.61 for Millwall. But if you go down and look at the see the scores that the substitutes get, their substitutes got a lot higher ratings than our substitutes, so that probably just marked it down a bit. So I would say that it's pretty much even in terms of players on the pitch who actually started. So it was a pretty even game in terms of player ratings. There are a few exceptions, as we've seen in the info goal model. We see here Wallace got man of the match here, whereas in the other one it was Mason Bennett. Wasn't it Mason Bennett? Pretty sure it was. Yeah, so Mason Bennett with Wallace just behind him. But you can see here they do it the other way around. They give Jed Wallace a star man, 8.4. But they also here give Alex Pearce 6.0. Lowest rating in starting 11. Scott Malone 6.1. Marlon Romeo 6.3. So there you go. Some consensus between the two sides that Pearce, Malone and Romeo were not at the races. And then the next slice player is Thompson, so they kind of agree on that as well. What we're gonna do, so let's have a look at total shots. So we were outshot. Oh my goodness, look at this, pretty much every player in the QPR team had a shot on goal, except for Dykes. Weirdly, they had a long shot. Yeah, Kane. So every player. Yeah, and that was Austin. I think that was Austin in the first half. All the shots lining up, so they clearly had a style pattern of play to go down that flank. You can see here though, Bennett with 4, Wallace with 3, Hutch with 2, Malone with 2. Okay, possession. Yeah, we know yet again the opposition had more possession, but player by player. Thompson he did nothing there. He did nothing. 1.8 possession. Bennett 1.7. But Bennett's basically the point man. He gets on the ball at the last second and has a shot away, or he's the pivot man for Wallace. So Wallace had most of the time on the ball. 5.5 for Millwall. And then Hutchinson 4.2, and Woods are 4%. Pass success, we're actually massively outpassed by QPR. They had 80%. We had 69, and actually pretty good for me all. That's kind of weird. Player by player, not that bad. Or Pierce 62. That's not good, is it? Biakowski brings it down 26. Okay. Dribbles, we were out dribbled there. So the AMC, we look 3 dribbles. Wallace with 3, okay. And our Wallace, they had a Wallace as well. Lee Wallace, I think. He had 2, so that's where he was going down that side, getting in behind Marlon Romeo. There you go, and he got an assist. Aerials one, we were outdone in the air. Can you believe it? Look at this, Dicky. 15 aerials one. That's against Mason Bennett, because Mason Bennett likes going down that left channel there. It seems he was coming unstuck against Dicky, though he did win 4. Mason Bennett 1-4, Hutchinson 1-5, Cooper 7, Pierce 4. So it seems, and a lot of the QPR players won a lot of headers as well. So when you've got Thompson didn't win any headers, he usually likes doing that. And Cooper, who's had a dislocated shoulder twice, winning 7. He was throwing himself. I was worried for him there. He's throwing himself in. Bodvarsson had 2. But it's not that common to be outdone in the aerials for Millwall. It really isn't. Shots, we actually had more shots. I know this is tackles. With tackles, we had more tackles than they did. So there you go. We were breaking it up on the floor, but losing it in the air. Pierce didn't have. Wow, that is amazing. Pierce didn't have a single tackle. Evans 4, Cooper 2, Hutch 2. Okay, there you go. So the corners, there you go. Dispossessed. So they were actually dispossessed quite often, because they were playing on each other, weren't they? Willock and Austin and Dykes. So there you go. They were dispossessed quite often. Woods was dispossessed twice for us. Moving on, we will look at. We're looking at stats. The list of stats. The stats I've already shown you, but a few more options as well. So ratings wise, that's QPR. Let's have a stroll down. Ratings wise for Millwall, so we've just seen Jed Wallace 8.37, Jay Cooper 7.91, Ryan Wood 7.29, Mason Bennett 7.15. So basically the 4 players involved in the attacking play, the 2 goal scorers, the 2 assists. So maybe that's bumped them up a lot. Touches, who had the most touches for the game in Millwall? Sean Hutchinson, Jed Wallace. That is unusual. Normally the top 3 or 4 players for Millwall in terms of touches are all defenders. See Hutch, Cooper, Marlon Romeo and Malone. But it wasn't. Jed Wallace got up there with 69 touches on the ball. So wow, you can see, yeah. That's why he got man of the match. Getting involved a lot. Mason Bennett, not that many touches, but still got the goal. There you can see. Okay. So the shots. So Mason Bennett, 4 shots, only 2 were on target, and he got 1 goal. So half of his shots on target were a goal. But Jed Wallace, 3 shots, 1 was on target, and that was a goal. So 100% shots on target were goals. There you go. And it looks like the only other player to have a shot on target was Scott Malone. Yep, absolutely. There you go. Let's move on to offensive. Unscheduled touches. Basically, poor ball control. Bennett and Wallace with 3 each, then Ben Thompson. Okay, then Alex Pearce. So you don't want him. You don't want your defenders having unscheduled touches. Scott Malone as well. Dispossessed. Who got dispossessed? Ryan Woods 2 times. Yeah, Thompson, Romeo. Defensive. Let's have a look. What are we looking at here? Clearances. 8 for Hutchinson. 5 for Cooper. 4 for Pearce. Okay. Block shots. Cooper, Hutch, Marlon, Romeo. Okay. Passing ability. So, what are we looking at here? Key passes. Okay. So who had the most? Jed Wallace had the most touches and the most passes. He ends up getting a goal and the man of the match on the stats, but on the losing team. Then Hutchison, and then Woods, and then Evans, and then Cooper. Marlon Romeo and Scott Malone way down the list. Ben Thompson way down the list. In fact, Ben Thompson was nearly very well outdone in the pass numbers by Sean Williams, who came on this time and the time he went off. No, you don't want to see that. Crosses. Jed Wallace 5, so that includes corners. So Jed Wallace 5, Scott Malone 3, George Evans 2, but accurate crosses. Only 4 accurate crosses. 1 from Romeo and 3 from Jed Wallace. Of all the players who had crosses, because the geezer, that Dicky geezer, winning all the aerials, all the crosses weren't accurate because we lost the aerial battle. Long balls as well, similar. You can see here, long ball. Biakowski 22 long balls, only 5 were accurate. Partly because of that Dicky geezer getting up there and nicking the ball. We got Scott Malone 7 and 2. Alex Pearce 7 and 1. Ryan Woods 6 and 4. He did put a sweet through ball for that goal, and I think another one as well. So that was pretty decent from him. 6 long balls, 4 accurate. Down to Marlon Romeo 5 and 3. Jake Cooper 5 and 2. Billy Mitchell coming on late, but 1 and 1. So there you can see, pretty much we have a game plan. Let's follow the game plan. The game plan works. Oh crap, what do we do now? Let's keep sticking with the game plan. I'm not saying you should defend, but if you're complaining about injuries, if you're a manager, you complain about injuries and the amount of games that have been played, and you don't make any changes until it's too late. And I think you've got to look at yourself there. Personally, I would have brought Billy Mitchell on. I would have taken Alex Pearce off. Maybe if you want to go a bit further, maybe I would have pushed Marlon Romeo back further. Had a back 4 that floated. So basically, what that means is you got the back 3, and then you got Marlon Romeo there as well. And whichever side the ball's on, they move along with it. And then I would have had put Jed Wallace on the right, have Mason Bennett playing in front of him on the right. But what that would be, he would be playing off of Jed Wallace on the right wing. So what would have happened then is when you play the ball up to Mason Bennett, obviously because he likes being on left channel because he can run through on his left foot then. But what happens if you put him on the right channel? What he's got to do, if he can't run on, so he's got to go. It's better for him if he's got his back to the goal, because if he's left-footed and he's got his back to the goal, he's on the right hand side, there's massive amounts of space in the middle that he can easily play to. Because if you're left footed and you've got your back to the goal and you're on the right flank, you're kicking it with your left foot to the centre of the pitch. So if he was playing on the right channel, with Jed Lawless playing on the right wing, they could have played off each other. And then when the QPR, they could have drawn the QPR defenders towards them. And that would have allowed Malone to bomb on down the left wing. And then Mason Bennett, with his back to the goal, could have put it through the channel for Malone to get in there behind the players. Because it's easier for him on the right flank, with his back to goal, being left footed, to do the old reverso, crisscross. So you could have done that, but they just basically carried on playing as they started the game. And QPR made changes, as you can see. I showed you with the map, where in the first half they were trying to go down that centre right channel, and second half they were going down the left, right. So there you go. We play Middlesbrough next on Saturday. If this moany manager doesn't make any changes, then he just needs to shut up about injuries, because then he would have effectively played the same starting 11 4 matches in a row, and he just needs to shut up. You can't complain about injuries and players being tired, not make any changes. Seriously, please just shut up about injuries. And this is the last game before the international break. So if this is another disaster, it will leave a very bitter taste in Mill fans' mouths that will not be able to be cleansed for 2 weeks until I think it's the Easter games against Rotherham. So there you go. Good Friday, I think. I think the next game after Saturday is on Good Friday, April the 2nd. Oi. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. Bye.